There we are. Monday night, guys.
What's going on? It's Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. You've made it here. We're back.
We are back from vacation.
Finally. It feels like we've been gone forever. Doesn't it feel like we've been gone?
It does.
Since you've been gone. Hey, guys, we got so much to talk about tonight. Our Jersey trip was a great time. We had some really cool automotive interactions while we were there on multiple levels. So we'll talk about that. Tonight's topics we hope to talk about, that we hope to get your input, your join in on, is some old versus new.
Automotive trends, some kind of things that are trending that I looked up today.
ity-B looked up some stuff. Hopefully she wrote it down and she'll be bringing up those points. She didn't, but we'll do it anyways. And of course, what else? Maybe a little bit of touch on the Rose, some updates and stuff that we've been doing there, and much, much more. So it's Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. Stick around. We'll see you in a few. Sketchy Live Monday. You made it. Hey, what's going on? We missed you guys. We were just back from our Jersey trip.
Yes.
Going to see some family. But as we went to New Jersey, got some really cool automotive interaction. We did a lot of automotive stuff.
Yes. Well, it was kind of pre-planned actually for us to hit the Bellcrest Plaza cruise in.
The old Bellcrest Plaza cruise in. Well, Bellcrest, you used to work in that plaza.
I did used to work in that plaza.
So we'll touch on
the food town.
Yep. So we're going to touch on that. We hope to talk about some really cool stuff that happened with your family, also with some automotive things that happened.
The racing.
Get to be there. Mm-hmm. Boom. What else? We talked about today just some automotive discussions that we talk about. We're not just a couple that just talks about the moods and what happened in your day. We were talking about ity-B that was like, I was looking up this thing, automotive trends. What do you think of this? And so she read them off. Hopefully you still have it.
I have it.
We'll read them and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, because I have some pretty strong opinions.
What the trends are supposedly saying about the automotive industry, sales, where we're going, where we're headed, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we'd like to talk about old versus new, meaning old cars versus new cars. As far as
that kind of falls in line with what
the
we're sharing.
Experience and what is gained, what is lost by having one or the other of those. We have both. Yes. We're fortunate. We're very fortunate. I'm blessed by that. So yeah, that's what we plan to talk about. ity-B, how are you doing?
I am doing great.
I guess we should introduce ourselves. I'm John Jalopy, a hot rod artist who isn't been hot rod artisting lately. And really bad happened this weekend, damaged my glasses, so I can't see garbage. So that's why we're doing a podcast tonight. We had every intention of drawing a car tonight, and I came home from a day at work on the computer, and it was like, ity-B, I can barely see out of these things.
He's blind.
Blind is bad. So John Jalopy, hot rod artist, ity-B, my beautiful wife, and
fully sighted.
Yeah, what's fully excited?
Fully sighted.
Fully sighted. I don't know. You're wearing the help of readers. Wearing readers.
They're readers. They're just readers. Yes, I'm doing well. Like Johnny said, we were gone for an entire week, which is a pretty long time for us to be gone up in Jersey. We normally don't stay that long, but
not that we didn't want to stay that long. It worked out to where we could spend that much time.
It did work out, and we had kind of pre-planned with Mark Akalowitz, who's been our contact up in the Toms River area where I'm from. But
shout out to Mark Akalowitz.
He's kind of a mover and a shaker at this Bellcrest Plaza cruise in.
But more than just that, he is enriched in the cultures of the New Jersey Shore
knows a bunch of people and helped coordinate us showing up at the event and invited people to come see us, which was really cool. So there were people that I think you met a couple that came in from quite a ways out.
There are people that drove some distance because they heard we were going to be there, and I was like, well, what are you doing, man? Why would to go out that way. But anyways, it was cool. We got to shake hands and kiss babies and sign autographs and punch mothers and
take photos.
It was all kinds of fun. So we'll talk about that experience and then much, much more. But ity-B, who's on the broadcast?
Yeah, let me tell you, we've got Mike Quilliams joining us. Hello from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Lizzie Daughtry, welcome back, you too. From vacation. We missed you. She's giving us her YouTube channel, Ms. Butterfree 34. Go check her out for resin jewelry and such. Wes Immel joining us. Friendly greetings from Flint, Michigan.
Nice.
Ron Finch told me to tell you hello.
What?
I love Ron Finch. Wait, did he say me or did he say Johnny?
I mean, come on.
I got to hang with him over the weekend and got him to autograph my welding helmet.
Oh, nice.
I'm hoping to get all my artistic heroes to sign it. If possible, I'd like you to sign it next time you're in Michigan.
Oh man, it'd be my pleasure.
We'd love it.
I'd love to be honored. Be honored to be on the same helmet as that amazing creator.
Well, next time you see my buddy Finch, you tell him ity-B says hello.
Yeah, we do have the beautiful heart sculpture that he made
displayed right over here.
Yeah, where's it at?
It's right there.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. So we have a piece of Finch in our house.
We do. Lizzie Daughtry said, "I just gave you a thumbs up on your channel. We appreciate it. We are broadcasting live right now on Facebook and YouTube, both. We've got Jim Pollan joining us from Hobo's Hot Rod Garage in Horseheads, New York. Internet outage here tonight, so he must be using minutes.
Well, we had spoken to him, and we're hoping that we can get Jim on
very soon.
The very next coming up Sketchy Live. So be looking forward to that interview. Yes. Jim's been doing amazing stuff from the first time that that we made contact with him, and he made a really awesome panel for us. And then it just seemed like, man, he just skyrocketed into
he's just everywhere.
Every famous person you could think of. He's done panels for in different charities, and the guy's just a mover and a shaker, building really cool Model A himself.
Is mover and shaker going to be the
did I say that twice now?
Tonight?
Sorry about that.
I said it earlier, but
we'll say it again. Well, I'll say it again.
That's
mover and a shaker.
Mover and a shaker. We've got Michael Schnell joining us. Hi, friends from NPR.
What's up, Newport?
Right here in our backyard. Diane K. Hi, Johnny and ity-B. Diane and Ray here. Good to see you too.
Hey, what's going on? Glad to see you aboard.
We've got Dennis Goff joining us. Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Diane said you're a bit blurry watching on YouTube.
Yeah, sorry. We tried to be a little more in focus, but everything seems blurry to me right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Jim Pollan said he's having some internet connections. Maybe we're experiencing some of the same stuff.
How's that picture on Johnny?
It's really, wow, my face looks horrible. Yeah, change it.
Hi.
There she is. The adorable ity-B.
Frank Pupello, time for the best show on the net. Here's Johnny.
Frank Pupello.
Jalopy, that is, and the ever popular ity-B. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
George Bennett joining us from Milan, Michigan. Hot Rods, Motorcycle Awareness and Suicide Prevention. Welcome,
What's going on? Very much so glad to see you.
Alrighty, we're caught up for the moment.
Awesome. So yeah, let's talk about our trip. So again, it was really cool to head down to, what's the name of the plaza again?
Bellcrest Plaza.
The Bellcrest Plaza
in Toms
River, New Jersey. We actually a couple years ago was last year.
Last year was our first show up
that we went out there, and there was probably a good maybe 20 cars, 30 cars. There was some good amount of people that showed up, and then so again, Mark did a shout out and was talking about it, days
about a week prior. He was telling everybody.
And when we got there and we show up, we're like, oh, wow, there's probably a good 60, 70 cars.
Yeah.
There was a whole Mustang group that showed up, a whole Corvette group that showed up. There was a really wide array of different cars that were there and really cool people.
Yeah.
And so we just had such a great time hanging out with that. We spent a couple hours there, walking around, handing out stuff and giving away stickers and taking pictures and stuff like that. That was really cool. Got to autograph some people's stuff, which was neat to be. It's always amazing to be asked to do an autograph. It really, because you go, why would you want my signature on anything? But they're really cool, and they were like, oh, we've been watching the show since the beginning. The talking about Full Custom Garage, and it's still cool that people are still talking about it. there were folks that they'd said, "Oh, we just watched it for the first time.
I just seen it." Yeah.
And I was like, "Wow, that was done a long time ago." And they're like, "Oh, we thought it just happened." And we're like, "Well, I guess that's good. Reruns rule."
Hey, as long as the exposure's there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
What I thought was really neat is we were over looking at some of the older cars. They were like maybe 50s and 60s cars that were along the one side.
Yeah,
and we had this
Model
girl
A's.
come up with her Mustang. She's like, "Hey, I am sorry to interrupt, but I just want to let you know we're over here with the Mustangs. I know you probably don't really look at the Mustangs or like the Mustangs. And you have openly said you're not."
Well, the way she worded it was, she was like, "Hey, hate to bother you, and just want to let you know, we're the Mustang, like you said, Mustang group, and we bought our Mustangs, and it's probably not your thing. We know old cars are your thing, but you have a big fan base right here. Everybody knows who you are over here." And I was like, "Really?" They're like, "Yeah. I mean, we don't have old cars, but we have these really cool Mustangs. Would you want to see them?" And I'm like, "Of course."
Right.
I mean, I had already been walking through and was looking at them, but she was like, "Well, come check this out." So, brave of her, I guess. And then I walk over to the group. There's probably about 5 or 6 people, and two young guys had no idea who the hell I was, but there was a couple. "Oh, well, yeah, we watched the show and it's so good, we love it," and da 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 da. So I just started asking questions about their cars, and the one lady, I forget her name, and I apologize, but she showed me her sick street. It's a race car, basically a race car.
Yeah.
That she's built from ground up with her husband, who also is a racer. And they've basically just been traveling and had come down to Bradenton Motorsports nearby and has done track time and started the car up for me and just really spent some time talk to me about their cars, which I love that they wanted to talk to me, and I was very curious about what they were doing and how they had done stuff. And of course, I feel bad. In the midst of that, another person came up and was like, "Oh my God, I drove an hour because I heard you were here.
Yeah.
Can I get a photo and an autograph?" And I was like, yeah. So then that became this battle of like, I don't want to dismiss
Who
this
gets
lady.
his attention?
And then this guy wants an autograph, wants a picture. And I was like, "Hey, just hold on a sec. She's going to do this." And I hope I didn't offend either one of them. And that's sometimes the sucky part is I try so hard to be accommodating and give time to everybody. And at the end of it, I always walk away going, I probably screwed that up.
No, I think you did. And
I think so too.
You didn't. You've made it abundantly clear that you are not a muscle car guy, but when I met you, there was I think an Audi that you really liked. Was it an Audi?
What does that got to do with muscle cars?
Well, it was a go fast car.
That's not the same thing.
It's not?
No.
Well, it wasn't an old car. It was one of the newer Audis.
There's more than just old cars and then muscle cars.
So what's the difference then between a muscle car and an Audi 8 or whatever it was?
That was closer to like a sports car.
So there's a difference between a sports car and a muscle car.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't consider a Mustang a sports car?
It depends on the year of Mustang and the way it's built. If we're talking about current Mustangs, that's the beauty of this retro design that they've done, is Mustang itself as a platform has now become not just muscle, but also performance. So they're kind of, depending upon how you build that car, you could build it into a total street racing sports car, or you can put it as those people had built all their cars, superchargers and big giant go fast from one point to another point, not going to handle because it's really all about going straight as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. That's
the difference between sports car, muscle car. Muscle car is the era basically between the 60s and the 70s into the 80s. And it was all about as much horsepower as possible to go from red light to red light or green light to red light or to drag race.
So the sports cars are a little bit more performance based.
Not that they're not fast, but they're designed to take corners and go around corners fast and hold onto the road. And
we've discussed this before, because I remember when you first showed me cars in general, and you were just gravitating towards a certain model year and a certain type, and over the course of the years, your tastes have changed. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, but I guess I would always think too, oh, you wouldn't want to see a Mustang, or you wouldn't want to see.
Again, it's all dependent upon it would be, again, if I had choices, like if they were sitting in front of me and you put a sports car, a muscle car, a street rod, and now a hot rod, traditional hot rod, of those, what would you pick? And if you asked me what I'd pick, I would take the traditional hot rod. Now you ask Johnny when he first got into the hobby, I probably would have picked the street rod because I was like, wow, those are really impressive. And Boyd Coddington and Chip Foose and all those guys, right? Not understanding the grassroots of really where it all came from. But in anything that I've done and anything that I've gotten involved with, I've learned things. I want to know about it so I can talk about it and be proficient in it and those kinds of things. And then you gain an appreciation for it, the history and all the stuff. You go back and you ask 10, 11-year-old Johnny, what kind of car he'd want. I'd pick that muscle car all day long because I wanted the Burt Reynolds Trans Am when I was a kid. So, and then as I got out of that phase, I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to have like a muscle car pickup truck. And then, and then I got into the mini trucking and stuff like that. So there's been this change in taste. But
as you've matured, maybe.
But I've always loved sports cars. I've always had an admiration for that style of racing and the styling itself. I would to see a beautiful Porsche, the old BMWs, love them. Really interested in watching, Le Mans cars. You take 6-year-old Johnny who was playing with his AFX slot car track. The slot cars I picked weren't muscle cars. They weren't hot rods. It was the Le Mans cars, Ferraris, and Lotuses and things like that you would see on Wide World of Sports racing in the Indianapolis 500 or the 24 Hours of Le Mans. As a little kid racing slot cars, that was the cool thing to have. And those were the cars I was like fascinated with. So my car journey is really, it's so interesting. It started with what I've probably pushed the furthest away in choices. But
what's interesting is that this woman had a story. A lot of those guys had a story, and you sat there and you listened because you appreciate you appreciate the story, you appreciate the builds, the work that went into it, and that doesn't matter whether it's a brand new car and they've customized it or done whatever they've done to it, or an old car like what. If
they have a passion for what they're doing and what they're building, why would I do the disservice or the rudeness as a car enthusiast to ignore that?
Right.
If there's passion behind it, I'm all about it. I love it. And again, even as an artist, what do I gravitate towards? Yeah, hot rods and stuff like that.
Right.
But I still have an appreciation for all those cars. I love looking at old automotive artwork of things that aren't like the type of stuff that I like to draw and do. I could stare at, beautiful oil paintings of, vintage racing or things from Le Mans and, those kinds of things are beautiful to look at. I'm still an automotive guy.
Right.
But if I had a choice, but like I said, if you stuck those cars in front of me,
you're going to be walking over.
I would be walking over to the traditional hot rod because that's just what draws me. So how about you out there? What's your flavor? What has your taste evolved and changed from the time that you were a little kid till now, or are you still chasing that ultimate dream car, and that's an amazing thing that happens when you finally attain it.
Right.
It really,
not a lot of people do. It's
my goodness. It's rough.
It's a great opportunity. We've got Heather Myers from the Myers group joining us. She still says the Myers family, but to me, you're the Myers group.
The Myers group. That's right.
We've got Dan and Mary Evans from our backyard here in Florida. Spud Anderson from the Pacific Northwest, PNW. Jay Newby from the Michigan area. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Welcome. Heather already had to go. Have a great night. Well, tell the family we say hello.
Yeah.
Tell the family and the farm. We've got Matt Williams. Good evening from Idaho. Welcome. Speaking of Bradenton, Paul Marziani joining us tonight.
Paul Marziano, Bradenton Motorsports.
Jay Newby said 100% hot rods all my life.
Yeah.
Howard Pierpont joining us, 88 and sunny, where he's at.
Wherever he's at. Where
I'm
in the
not
world
sure.
is Howard Pierpont?
I'm gonna guess
Mineola, Texas, maybe. But he's a traveling man.
Yeah, he may be on the road. So great night at the Bellcrest Plaza. Got to see those people.
Yeah, you actually spoke to this one guy was there as we're in the big group and we're talking. It was really cool. At one point, we had probably 10 or 12 people just around us in like a circle. And I don't know, I can't remember what the topic of discussion was, but this one guy goes, "So I heard you used to work here?" Because I was telling everybody that my wife used to work at the Food Town that used to be in this plaza, which is not there anymore. And this guy was probably, I don't know, maybe in his 60s. He's like,
"I used to work there in the produce department." I'm like, "What's your name?"
What year? And I think you worked
same year.
You guys, you worked with him.
Yeah,
he just didn't remember you.
That's so funny.
I don't know how I could forget you, little cutie pants.
So here is the coolest thing that happened while we were there. There was a car there, and I can't even remember the year, make, and model on it now. But my dad and I were walking together. You were with Mark, and he was kind of introducing you to people.
You guys took off ahead of us.
And my dad and I just went for a stroll and just kind of looked at some of the cars. And there was one that I really liked, and I'm kicking myself for not remembering what it was. But he said, we're trying to figure out the year that it was, and the owner of the car wasn't with the car. So my dad's like, "Well, if you look at the taillights, there's usually a number printed on it." And I'm like, "Really?"
Right.
I did not know that. So I go to the back, and it said something 69. The 69 was at the end. And I'm like, "Well, maybe it's a 69. He's like, "Probably is." So we kind of walk away, and then we're circling around, and we go back. I'm gravitating to this car, and the owner's there. And, Dad's like, "What year is this?" And he's like, 69. He's like, see, he was so excited that he was right. It was so cute. But I had never known that.
I know my car stuff.
I didn't know that. That was the first I heard that they may do that. I guess if they were the original lenses.
If they're the original lenses, possibly, yeah.
So that was pretty neat.
Which, depending upon, especially a car with 69 flavor.
Was it the Duster? No. Do you remember which one it was? Because I pointed it out.
It was like an Oldsmobile or something like that.
I forgot what it was. It was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
Paul Marziani said hot rods always. Michael Schnell said 70s F-150 has always been and always will be my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, there's you get into the trucks, there's lots of cool, I've got, ity-Bs, of course.
We went over that.
60s, any of the C10s. She loves the Chevy C10s up to a certain year. Not a fan of the late 50s, early 60s, is like 62.
Too bulbous.
Yeah, you're. Oh, the word bulbous that you use for such silly stuff.
Diane Kinnery said Mopar hot rods for us.
Yeah, see, so there you go. So there's,
Michael Schnell said rat rods. I love people's creativity.
For sure.
Yeah, that's something you definitely see with the rat rods when you're piecing these Frankenstein machines together. You're just using whatever you have.
And again, there's a description of a particular vehicle that was kind of taken off and changed and come back around and been different things. I'm a fan of rat rods that kind of less art car but more where they're trying to build it's a low budget hot rod basically is what I look at. Yeah, but there's a lot of that's like interesting. Like you could take a Shaggy's car, and I bet people would call it a rat rod, but I don't. Just because it's rusty body or rusty colored body, or sometimes with patina, people call it a rat rod, and I don't know. Such a different. I
don't know if there's really a true definition of rat rod. I think it's people's interpretation.
There is, and again, it's where the terminology came around was when guys were kind of doing traditional, more of what they did back in the 50s, which was low budget stuff, pulling stuff out of the junkyard and piecing things together. Where you've got, it's not a specific, so they may say it's a 29 body with a 30 doors and 31 back end that was chopped off from a Model A, but it's a 5-window, and they made it into a truck, and that's kind of rat rod. It's almost kind of like what we've done with the Volkswagen. It's the Volksrad, which is the Volkswagen terminology of a rat rod, which is here we've taken, perfectly good. Well, it wasn't perfectly good, but it was a
fairly good
Volkswagen, and made it not what traditional Volkswagens look like,
right?
And made it more like a hot rod, as you can for a VW without putting a big V8 in it, which a lot of people are now doing. It's amazing how many V8 Volkswagen Bugs there are now.
That thing would fly.
Oh, they do. And they do.
Yeah. We've gotten that thing up to 65. Did I tell you I clocked you at?
That's not flying though, babe.
No,
flying is where it's like, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds.
We don't need to be doing that. We don't need to be doing that.
That's going fast.
That's a little fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into
you're moving on to topics now? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird transition, but go ahead.
No, well, I was going to ask you if there was anything else you want to share. Oh, we do. We do want to share from the trip. We did get to attend the race at the New Egypt Speedway.
Yeah, that was fun. The weird thing when I met your family and your brother's into racing, and you guys took me to Wall Stadium, it was odd for me to have racing on asphalt.
Right.
I was like, this is weird, because I come from Santa Maria, which we have our Santa Maria Speedway, and that's a dirt track. And then if you go up into the other parts of California, generally it's dirt track, sprint cars, that kind of stuff. So I grew up with that being what racing was to me. And when I went to see, I was like, this is weird. So to be back at New Egypt and it be a dirt track, I was like, okay, I'm home. This is more like home.
Yeah, I'm walking away covered in sand. You guys are bitching
and complaining because of the sand and the dust.
There was a lot.
And I was like, why aren't these guys wetting this track down a little bit more? And it shouldn't be this, because in Santa Maria, it's hardly ever dusty.
They did wet it down, and then it was almost too wet at one point.
I think you could have still raced.
In any case, my nephew was out there racing, and super exciting to see. I was on the edge of my seat.
It's his first season in as his father, who builds the car, whatever. It's a 602 crate modified sportsman class race car.
I don't know. It's tongue twister.
Yeah. And then they got like super sportsman, which is it's like 600 horsepower versus 800 horsepower, something like that.
And this is his first time on this track and in this division.
Right. So he was getting his basically his track certification. So it appeared there was a good class of about 7-8 people, men and women, kids and children.
People.
Yeah. They basically have the rookie class, which they at each one of these races for the last 10 weeks, they have been doing heats for them where they're racing on their own. And your nephew, I guess my nephew, won 9 out of the 10.
I think it was 12 races. He won 9 out of 12.
9 out of 12 races he won.
And took the championship.
For the rookie championship. Yeah. And then is now qualified to be able to race with the regular group.
Which he did that night. There were 25, 26 cars.
It was a pretty big heat where they allowed him and 3 other qualifying people from the rookie class to go in and race with the rest of the gang. So he raced, and
out of 25 laps, he lasted for 23 until he got passed by the leader, and then he pulled off.
And again, he was really not going hard because they're a low budget team. It's just your brother and him fronting the money for the car. And so hey, anybody out there want to sponsor a really cool sportsman class dirt car with a very, very talented rookie driver? They are looking for sponsors. If you are interested in that, let me know. I can get you in touch with it. Puglisi Motorsports
or PMS.
Your brother prefers Puglisi Motorsports because he doesn't want to be laughed at.
Hilarious.
That was the old days when he was a kid and they were making fun of it. Now they're serious. So it's Puglisi Motorsports. And so, but I will tell you, his Steven Jr., very talented, very smart racer.
Driven.
And again, I was the most impressed by his off-track the way he handled himself being interviewed after he won, how he was interviewed at graduation. He's really, really matured as a race car driver, and it seems to be taking it serious. And someone who has won that many, from what I heard, pretty easily, as far as how advanced he was as far as skill set, could easily have a big head, and he did not. So we're hoping that we can try to figure a way to help sponsor as well. But it's racing is an expensive business, a hobby. And so they'd like to be able to do more tracks. The unfortunate thing is Steve's not allowed. Steve's struggles because he can't be as aggressive as he needs to be in racing.
And he totally would be,
because they're afraid to wreck the car, and there's been already multiple times where he's just driving and he's been wrecked into.
His dad, my brother, is a mechanic. He's been a mechanic his entire life, but he is not a body guy. I mean, they know body guys, and he maybe can do some body stuff.
It's not the body stuff. It's just merely chassis breakage. It has nothing to do with sheet metal.
Oh, wow. So then the chassis.
It's all the chassis stuff: wheels, rims, tires, suspension components. It's mostly the suspension components. The last race where the kid wrecked into him, he's just driving along and he got sideswiped into the wall, and it just ripped apart these $400 or $500 shocks they had just put on. So there's $1,000 right out the window, and it wasn't even anything that he did, like made an error or was in the wrong place. It was just somebody didn't get into the corner correctly and took him out.
It happens.
Yep. So
definitely happens. But anyway, that was a really exciting time and a really cool time for our family, for us to be there visiting during the championship race.
Really proud of him, and he did like I said, did a great job. And they
let us all run out to the track and pose for pictures and everything. I was like, we came at a good time. That was really
super
cool.
Fun. It was a great time to be out there.
Congratulations to my brother and his son. Puglisi Motorsports.
Looking forward to seeing what happens in the future with his racing, and
for sure
hoping that they can pick up some sponsorship and they can start, where he can let that kid be a little more aggressive as far as driving, and not so where he's got to hold back just to save the car kind of thing.
Right.
I will bet you he will start taking some track wins, because he's really smart, makes good decisions. So
yeah. We also spent some time over at the Seaside Boardwalk and ity-B sighting. I was
that's
very
right.
excited.
Yes, it was very cool. We were walking down the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore, and we're not sure who it was, but they walked up and said, "Hey, aren't you ity-B?" And ity-B was like, "Yes, I am." And he's like, I thought I recognized you from the porn I watched now. From this. So whoever that was, please let us know if it was you.
So excited.
We didn't get to catch your name or who it was. You made ity-B's day.
I know.
And then we got recognized a couple other places too, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
At dinner, I think once, or something like that. One of the places. But it was really fun.
It was fun.
Had a great time.
Very good time up there.
Jersey was a good time. Love being with our family.
My family's amazing. Dan Evans said, back in my teen years, I saw a 425 V8 in a Nash Metropolitan. It did wheelies in every gear.
Wait till you see this Nash Metropolitan that's being built by Shaggy. Holy cow, can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to get up there. They've invited us up there for a week. Well, they haven't really invited us, but they're like, "Hey, if you're in town, come by."
That's not really an invite.
Yeah, they said they would take care of us if we came up.
Yeah,
but I'd love to go. They're meeting on Telegraph at Leon's on Saturday nights for a little cruise.
So if you're in the Taylor, Michigan area,
yes, hit them up. The Southeast Michigan Hot Rodders gang.
Super great group.
Yeah, they really are. Miss you guys and hope to get up there soon. Matt Williams said, I call a classic ride with Rust a vintage rockabilly cruiser, not so much a rat rod.
Right on.
Michael Schnell said, that's awesome news about your nephew. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was super cool to see. It was neat to be there and again, be a part of getting to watch,
Well, and then he hands the trophy to my brother, who says, give this to Aunt Beth.
Yeah.
And he gave me his, and I'm like, how am I going to get this home in my luggage?
Yeah, he basically handed you his rookie championship trophy, is what he said, and gave it to my Aunt Beth.
That was really
we
cool.
didn't have a way to bring it home, so we
did. We left it.
Yeah,
we left it, but it was the thought that counts. So anyway, alrighty.
Yeah, that he thought of you enough.
He did.
So guys,
he knows I'm a super supporter.
If you're a fan of the automotive industry, which I'm sure you are, just like us, there's a lot of scuttlebutt and talk and things going on in the industry. ity-B, being curious, automotive curious.
I had pulled up just the first
Does
thing
that mean
that
you're
I saw.
Curious or?
You told me to try and find a reputable source, and I don't think anything on the internet is 100% reputable.
Let's go off of what your non-reputable source said.
Well,
but
I'm on Forbes now.
But this is the scuttlebutt of what
this is scuttlebutt
they're talking about in the automotive industry. Do you agree or disagree? ity-B, hit us with the facts.
Topic number 1: electrical vehicles, and we have talked about this. We did a podcast.
Let's not go one by one. Let's just how many you got?
I don't know, a few. We're going to go one by one. Electric vehicles, a slowdown, not a stall. So they're saying that sales have slowed down, but it is not stalled, that there are people still buying them. Again,
because the governmental push right now is EV, and they want everyone to stop with petrol vehicles, the hobby, our lives, all that kind of stuff, and go to electric because it supposedly is better for the environment and all that kind of stuff. I don't agree with that as an automotive enthusiast. I think most of the vehicles that you see rolling around that are old and that are taken care of by automotive enthusiasts definitely take care of their vehicles, and they're probably cared for better than most cars that are out there. But if you really look at, if you do your research and you really do your research and you look at the carbon footprint that an electric vehicle takes, it is much larger than a standard.
Well, and here's something I didn't know. Call me ignorant, because we all know.
All right, you're ignorant.
I get a bit weird sometimes, but I did not realize that people were paying to plug in.
How did you think they were? Well, now at home you're still paying for it at home.
You're still paying for it.
But you thought when they're out, they're just plugging into the Wawa.
Yeah.
And there's 15 Tesla chargers.
I did not know they were paying for that.
Just because they bought a Tesla, that's a free charge.
I thought that they were. Yeah. I guess I didn't realize that they'd have to pay for it.
It is not. Anybody out there got an electric car that wants to chime in?
Yeah. And you said that something you read said that it was actually more expensive.
I watched a recent, and again, this was out, I think it was out west somewhere, and there was a lady that had done a little bit of a check, and she followed somebody, asked him a question about their Tesla. Oh, it was another YouTuber that was talking about their Tesla.
Okay.
And they were doing like here's why it's so awesome. And 2.5 hours later, it was going to give them 250 miles worth of range after 2.5 hours, right? Sitting there. Cost them $76 and change to charge for 2 hours.
That's nuts.
Then the next part of her reels, her grabbing the gas filler, setting a timer on her watch, sticking it into the thing, took her a minute and 20 seconds to fill her tank, pulled it full tank, went over to the trip thing. It got her 450 miles of range on the tank of gas. It cost her $68. And she goes, how is that better?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I think environmental impact is the biggest thing that they're trying to. Now think about this, and again, our conspiracy theory on Sketchy Life. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, if they go all electric, right? If everybody goes electric, who are we relying on for electric? Yes, that's okay. Relying on them in gas too, but they sure could pull the plug literally much quicker.
Michael Schnell said hybrids are better options over EV. Ford is pulling away from EV. Tommy Rouse said, LOL, California is having rolling blackouts right now. Please unplug your electric cars.
That's the funny thing is they're telling everybody, as we're going through heat waves and different stuff like that, they're telling all these people who in a state where they kind of forcing people to go electric. They want to pass laws where the gas engines will not be allowed. And then they're telling them, hey, but don't plug in. How are they going to get to work?
Michael Schnell said Wisconsin charges EV cars a road tax because they are losing money from gas tax. Michael Schnell said hydrogen cars. I did read something about that too.
They've been working on hydrogen, and it's not like a technology that we don't have. It's already been shown and proven. Jesse James from West Coast Custom guy, hot chopper builder, built like a land speed car that went on hydrogen. They're utilizing the hydrogen technology. We have it. And that's the thing with EV too, is everybody wants to talk about how this is brand new technology. Go to Jay Leno's garage and watch any of the old cars spots on there you can find where he has 18 something electric cars. It's not new technology. Why is petrol surpassed electric? Because again, it's about range and charge. And again, you can go to I just watched another thing. You can go anywhere out there where there's all these plugins, and if you go behind the gas station that these plugins are at, you'll see a big giant gas generator.
Really?
Yeah, because what happens if the power goes out?
They got to be able to. Chongo NorCal checking in. He said $96 for a full tank for 183 miles.
Aish!
What are you driving?
Is that electric?
I don't know. He said the technology is there.
And again, there are. Someone said hybrid. I think there's some great ideas like this whole electric movement in bicycles and other modes of transportation, battery operated items and such. I think it's a great idea as far as less consumption and where we can utilize, but we're still consuming. That's the thing I think people gotta forget. Every time we're plugging in, that electricity comes from somewhere. And those buildings and those factories or places that are making electricity are not all solar. We're not there, and there's a reason for that. All you got to do is go take a look at some stuff that has to do with solar farming and a lot of the environmental impacts on that stuff too. So, it's all give and take. I think there's some balance. I think some of the hybrids are a good idea because you can definitely save on fuel and consumption is definitely much less. But to say one is better than the other, I don't agree.
Well, it says factors like reduced incentives, limited charging infrastructure, and the saturation of early adopters are significant hurdles to attract the mass market. Industry leaders like Musk are lowering prices, which I think is a move in the right direction. So they're trying to probably make it a little bit more affordable for people. Sure,
but it's still, here's what it really all comes down to as well. And I've seen and heard and talked and listened to this too, which is most of your large metropolitan cities are already at capacity to where they're like, we don't have the infrastructure to go total EV. There is nobody. You look at Amazon. They've added electric units.
Oh, have they?
But there's still gas trucks running around, and there's still semi trucks that run on diesel because it's what's available. The infrastructure of most cities and towns can't do it.
Yeah,
can't go full electric.
Yeah,
I don't know. And when you pry the keys out of my Model A Ford out of my hand,
and you will have to pry them. Rob Earl's joining us. Hey there, ity-B and Johnny. Great to see you two again. It's winter here now. It's 72 degrees and sunny. Yep, 100% agree. EVs aren't the answer. The public are being hoodwinked by the worldwide governments who have to be on the payroll of EV companies. Hydrogen is the only alternative power to fuel cars of the future, but that's just my thought. That's what we're here for. We're just throwing out opinions.
Especially when you look at the output. And again, I don't know do you know much about the hydrogen technology, babe?
No.
So its emissions is water.
Okay. Which is safe.
It's water, pure, clean water. If the technology could be advanced,
where are we getting the hydrogen from?
It's water. It's made from air and water. It's hydrogen and oxygen
is water, right? So they're taking water and reducing the hydrogen from it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's how it happens.
Well, if they do that, then anybody has access to that.
Okay. Now think about what you just read about. See,
right.
If it's easily accessed and
they're not going to do it.
Who's going to make money on it?
Government's going to somewhere.
So think about this. We have water for free. right?
Where?
At one point, we have water for free. And then at another point, someone said, well, we can't just have free water. We need to make money off that. And then people started saying, well, your water's fine in your sink, but you want good water? I got this good water in this bottle right here for $2. Doesn't it taste amazing?
More than that.
Where'd you get it? Oh, I got it from this
some kind of glacier
spring up in the mountains. Don't you live on a very flat surface where there's no mountains? Not according to the picture on my bottle. So
yeah, but I mean, there's people out there collecting rainwater and using that through their own process of filtration.
Like yeah. Hey, do you know that when you go to get filtered water in that big giant cube in the middle of some strip mall driveway, how is that cleaner than what's in your sink?
I haven't drank sink water in years.
Filtration. Okay, but you're drinking water out of our big square box in our fridge.
I know, through a filtration
It's system. A filtration system.
Yeah.
So the answer is filters?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that's where they'll make
if we could only build filters to filter water. Oh, we do already. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, somebody's gonna finally do it.
We'll
see.
Free.
We'll see who has the guts.
To what?
To develop the hydrogen.
It's already ready.
I mean, making it move.
And the only people not unless they can find a way to make a giant buck off of it, then you ain't going to see it.
Michael Schnell
what's
said,
our next thing?
Most parts for EV cars come from China. Dan Evans said, today the electric cars are still prototypes. Somebody else is going to be guinea pigs before I buy one. Chongo Norcal said, I drive a 97 Toyota 4Runner.
Right.
So this I saw, this is the next topic.
More automotive trends with ity-B.
The next topic was surging online sales of vehicles.
Yeah.
And I came across this because I was considering doing Carvana before I bought my Jeep. I was going to hand in the Equinox. I was driving a 2018 Equinox.
No, thank you.
I know. And they were like, oh, just give us the year, make and model and your mileage, and we will price it out, let you know what we'll do it for. And you buy sight unseen this brand new car.
Listen, the idea of them checking your car out and making you an offer online, that makes sense to me. Because let's be honest, when you took your Jeep down just this little while ago to get, what did the guy do? He looked at the mileage,
yep,
the year you bought it,
and did a quick walk around.
And he wasn't concerned because you're like, oh, I didn't really vacuum. He's like, I don't care. Even when we traded cars in, they didn't care.
Right.
They already have a set pricing that they are going to give you. It's how much can they give you and still leave them tons of meat on the bone to mark it up, to resell it, and what they can make on that. That's the whole idea of it, right? So you could put that in a system on a computer to go, oh, it's this year with this miles. We'll give you this much money.
So what's wrong with you buying? Okay, I can see maybe you being leery about a used vehicle, but what about a brand new vehicle? If you're being sent pictures.
Okay, let me ask you this question. What's wrong with just dating someone online?
Well, I've done it. So
what happened, catfish?
It was not good.
How'd that work out for you?
It wasn't good.
Did it work out good?
But people lie.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So imagine you're selling shit on Marketplace already. So imagine if you will, you're willing to hand over money sight unseen without looking at something, driving it, making sure it's all good.
If I'm buying it from an organization,
as picky as
I was considering it. I'm glad I didn't do that because I did want to do a test drive. But
this coming from the woman who did order a car, which I was like, wow, must be nice to order a car. Orders a car, gets it to the dealership, and then still does this massive walk around and goes, oh, there's a little ding there. Oh, there's a little scratch there. And now you had it just been, here's the keys, Mrs. Wood. And you're like, oh, thanks. Because Carvana truck ain't going to sit here while you walk around it. They drop it off and you've already paid the money.
Right.
There's a 60-day guarantee. Can you imagine the loopholes? No. That's their deal.
Right.
30 days. So can you imagine how easy that transition will be? You ever return something at Walmart? It's not as easy as it used to be in the old days to return something.
No.
And you're going to do that with a car? I don't think so.
Well, the online sales are surging according to this. And like I said, it was something that I did look into, but never went through with.
Would you, or have you bought a car online?
Wesley Wilkerson.
I couldn't do it.
Wesley Wilkerson is joining us. Making batteries for EVs requires sulfur. There is videos on YouTube you can watch of sulfur being harvested by children.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's about time those kids get to work.
Mr. Dana Baldwin joining us. Hello from Casa Grande, Arizona. Tuned in late, 96 and rain in the forecast.
What's up?
Is it monsoon season?
Monsoon.
Must be. Chongo NorCal said every car devalues rolling it off the lot.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. It does happen.
Okay. Next topic.
Well, hold on. We're not done with that. So is anybody else thought about buying something online, or would you trust buying just vehicle? I mean, you see the pictures. It's no different than like when I went to buy the Model A. I saw what the pictures looked like.
Right.
And it was, it looked great. And come to find out, those photos were taken months ago. I could post pictures of Raquel right now that I took a year ago when it was running and the paint was a little greener and it was wet. And that wouldn't be right.
I wouldn't buy a used car, but if it was a new car from the dealership, like the one I ordered, I knew what I was getting because it was brand new. There wasn't going to be mileage on it. It was going to be crisp and clean. It was going to be. You
assumed?
That's what a new car.
Mm-hmm. And was it crisp and clean?
Yeah.
Was it perfect?
Well, it was missing a badge they put on.
Was it perfect?
No.
Was it what they claimed? No.
Well,
was the answer. It wasn't.
Yeah, I guess.
No. So, I mean, but wouldn't you want the option to go, hey, that's missing that. Yes. Where's the thing on that? And hey, you told me you guys were going to do this. Or that's where true. They could just drop it off and go, well, there you go.
That's true.
And then you're going to spend the next 2.5 months trying to get all the stuff that you need. Screw that.
Robert Earl said, I wouldn't buy a pizza online, Johnny, let alone a car. LOL.
Listen, I've done that too. And boy, did that screw me. I will never do DoorDash or any of those things ever again. Ever.
You had a bad experience.
I ordered a pizza using one of those delivery things. This is not during the pandemic now, mind you. This is outside of the pandemic.
This was like a year ago.
I'm stuck at work on a weekend and I can't leave. I have to be there. I order a pizza from a place, a reputable place, Little Caesars. Now, it wasn't their fault because they made the pizza 3 times. And I watched my little car on the app drive away from them
as they were eating your pizza.
Specific instructions of the location that I was at. I was the only store called what my store is called in my only area. And I watched it go past my store, disappear. Your pizza's been delivered.
Pizza got eaten.
Your pizza's been delivered. I'm like, no, it hasn't. So I hit the DoorDash app and hit them back. Didn't get delivered. We're remaking your pizza. Saw the car leave the place, go to my store, come into my parking lot, and then leave. Pizza delivered. I'm like, I'm at the front door.
I'm still hungry.
Yeah. 3rd time. Didn't happen again for the 3rd time. This time they delivered it to a store 2 stores down from me. Pizza delivered. And I'm like, stick your pizza up your ass. I'm not doing it ever again. Screw those things.
Wesley Wilkerson said, I drive a 95 Explorer because I can't take an EV off-road and beat the ever-living life out of it.
Actually, I would love to take an EV off-road and beat the ever-living crap out of it.
That's when you rent one and you get the insurance, right?
Maybe our next Detroit trip. Let's do that.
Right. So this one, I don't know how I feel about it. Redefined luxury, a new class of car emerges, the luxury automotive trend.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about the luxury automotive trends.
I don't know what would be considered a luxury automotive. Are you talking about like the,
well, when you hear luxury automotive, what comes into your mind? What are the brands?
Mercedes, BMW, Lexus.
Okay, let's take that company, Lexus.
Toyota.
Owned by Toyota.
Right.
Why was the company Lexus formed?
So you could charge more money for a Toyota?
Well, okay, you now know. But
now I know that I had a Lexus and I didn't realize.
You now know that is the case.
Right.
It is basically a Toyota that's been badged as a premium brand. And what do? Now, if they added some extra pieces and parts to it to make it a little more luxurious, okay.
I did have a moonroof.
You can't. Okay, so that was the sole purpose of why Toyota made Lexus. When Toyota started bringing the Camrys and stuff into the United States, and we're starting to think about charging a specific amount of dollars, Americans were like, I'm not spending that much money on a Toyota Camry, right? So Toyota got smart and they're like, okay, then we'll design a premium brand.
Throw in a leather suit.
Hold on.
Leather seat,
We'll completely make this brand. We'll call it Lexus. We'll advertise as premium, luxury, leather,
comfortability,
performance. And if you listen to the commercials even today, it's luxury. It's all about high end, right? And Americans went, okay, it's better now because it's luxury. They use that word luxury. I love it.
I kid you not, though. The 2 weeks that I had that car,
we can't count.
It drove so nice. It was so nice.
You can't count your piece of shit used Lexus that had 100,000 miles on it because it was still a Toyota, so it ran great.
It was
a
smooth ride.
It just was. It was not taken care of well. So listen. Toyota did that and was successful, and then other companies went, "Oh my God, that's a great plan." Other companies, what? Well, Nissan went, "Oh, well, let's do the same thing." Infiniti.
Yeah.
People started paying more for an Infiniti Q7, and what was the Q7 or the R6? It was an Altima with leather interior,
right?
And premium. This and sound system and the Bose and the thing and the rims and all that kind of stuff. And then Honda went, oh, we could do that. We'll call ours Acura. It's
Acura.
It's Acura.
Acura.
It's Honda.
Rolling the R.
It's Honda's. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's the premium version of Honda.
Well, it says luxury automotive trends are undergoing a paradigm shift with the traditional players redefining the ultra luxury segment and non-luxury OEMs strategically positioning top-end models as luxury vehicles. So like you said, they're just moving them up. In the last couple of years, we saw a significant shift with SUVs becoming the ultimate uber luxury car of choice for the mega rich.
Yeah, all of them have now, but again, even
look at the Escalade.
There's a great example of a top-end GMC is all it is.
Yeah.
The Escalade. What is it?
Cadillac.
It's Cadillac. What is Cadillac?
Luxury.
General
vehicle.
Motors.
Yeah.
It's a Suburban with leather. So you could buy a Suburban fully pimped out and spend way less money than a fully pimped out.
Rob Earl said, when I hear luxury, I think of Cadillac. Yeah, indeed.
But Cadillac did the same thing. That's what they did. So General Motors was smart. They were like, hey, the Cutlass isn't cutting it. We'll call it this Eldorado.
Michael Schnell said, I'm in the market for a new car and everything I've seen out there is junk. I'm leaning toward buying an older car and upgrading it.
Yeah, it might be the way to go.
The used car market is just as high right now, honestly.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing is because there's, they're trying to, and hey guys, everybody remember the trend of where they were giving you super crazy deals and they were destroying cars because they want to get rid of all the old cars. Remember that trend when they were, was it, I forget what the name of it was called. But they would give you like $1,000 for your old car, and they were just crushing them. They were getting rid of all of them. So I can't find.
That wasn't that long
Chevys.
ago.
No, it was not. Cash for Cars is what it was called. I think. Yeah.
Right. The next thing they're talking about here is plugging in for the future, the EV charging revolution, which we've really already talked about. And then the used car market takes center stage. So here we go. The global used market is experiencing significant
Cash
growth.
for clunkers. That's it, Rob. Yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Dan Evans said my Ford Fusions were both luxury cars and they were great. Yeah, Dan's always had some really nice cars because he's done some Ubering and lifting, and he's made it wonderful. Like the experience riding in the back of his car was just amazing.
Well, that's just it. So
he had reading materials, snacks.
So a lot of brands that have gone away, some of the American companies have now had to make luxuries in their own platform. So like a Ford, they don't have the luxury versions that Lincolns and I guess they still kind of do, but they've basically tried to now they'll have higher platforms of different levels within. So like the Ford Fusion, that was probably a luxury version of the Ford Fusion. Just like you can get a fully pimped out F-150, the Lariat or whatever.
Look at the difference between your Jeep and my Jeep as far as interior and comforts.
Yeah, sorry.
He gives me the crappy one.
I didn't give you shit. You ordered yours
I
like
love
that.
My Jeep.
Because you had to copy me.
We're at 10:30, so we're going to have to wrap it up. I'm just looking. There was only one left, and it was 5G takes the wheel, the connected car and living revolution, which I think, some of the things that you can do with your car now and some of the features that are on cars, safety features.
Let's talk about autonomous driving. That's the big thing that's out right now that everybody, even GMC and some of the bigger truck platforms have now, hands-free driving and stuff like that. No thanks. In fact, I've heard scuttlebutt, and we're such conspiracy theorists here on Sketchy Live, but I've heard that even a lot of Tesla stuff that's where they've had horrible accidents due to some of the autonomous features and stuff like that, where cars are just being, as they've gotten to a wreck, a tow truck shows up, grabs a car, and takes off.
And the person's still in it.
So there's the customer's gone, but there's no record of that. That's what happened.
Oh.
So a lot of stuff is being erased because, that's the big selling point is everybody wants this autonomous thing. I mean, I just watched a YouTube reel today. There was a guy supposedly coming out of the airport and a car pulls up. He's like, oh yeah, that's my Jaguar. I ordered a luxury pickup, and he gets in the car and it's an autonomous vehicle that drives itself. Down in Clearwater, there's an autonomous bus to make you drive through the from the hotels and stuff. There's no driver. That's what autonomous means.
Yeah.
You just get in and it goes where it goes. No thanks.
No.
Nope.
I'm good.
Skynet's not coming down on Jalopy over here.
No, we like to drive.
As soon as I see that big hairy dude show up in a big fat boy motorcycle and a shotgun, I'll be back. No, you won't.
On that note, guys, we are gonna bid you farewell for the evening.
Hey, it's Sketchy Live Monday. We're sure appreciative of you guys hanging out with us. Hope you had fun. Silly topics to talk about.
Interesting though,
guys. We hope that you guys enjoy the podcast stuff, and I know you probably showed up hoping that there'd be some drawing, and we're known for drawing cars and doing different stuff like that. Right now, again, if you just showed up. This weekend, I took some severe damage to my glasses, so I'm having a little trouble seeing without horrible glare. Hopefully this week I'm going to get some new ones ordered, and we'll be back to visioning and drawing and creating art again, because it's been a struggle. I'm having a hard time seeing through all these. Like, it's bad. So we hope to get back to it. Why did you go silent all of a sudden?
You're talking. What do you want me to say?
Chime in.
You're blind. What am I supposed to say?
Says the person wearing readers.
Just hold my shoulder and I will lead you around.
Yeah. Just like an autonomous vehicle.
Yeah.
Right into a wall.
Oh my goodness.
We sure appreciate it. Hey guys, we'd love for you to support the channel over here at Sketchy Live, the podcast, and Sketchy Live. Did you just turn it off as I'm turning it on? Stop hitting it. Dork.
This is what happens when we both have controls.
Yeah. I got to it first and you're like, oh, let me turn it off. Would love for you to go over to the website, johnjalopy.com, get your cool merch, hats, stickers, all kinds of cool stuff there. Still have plenty of awesome prints available, artwork available. And hats, t-shirts. We talked to we got some stuff in the plans. We'd appreciate some support, and we could get a little revenue for us to create some availability to go order some more new stuff, because we definitely want to start. I've got some ideas for some full color versions of a lot of your favorites.
Yes, we're excited.
So the first one I'm probably going to redo is the Johnny 5, and I just had a really cool vision of how I'm going to do the new Johnny 5 t-shirt. And it's a mystery car. Who knows where it's at? It could be anywhere in the ethos.
Right.
So yeah, we appreciate it for sticking around with us. Anything you want to add?
No, guys, we thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next Monday. We hope to have a guest next Monday.
Yeah,
we're going to see what we can coordinate.
We plan to have a guest as long as he's got internet. We'd actually hope to have him tonight, but he was having some internet issues, and it was a little short notice, so we didn't get him on the line. And of course, we hope to have some other guests coming up in the future. Mm-hmm. So you don't hear us rambling baloney to you.
You didn't update people on Rose, so we might do a live during the week.
Okay.
Or maybe Friday when you're off. We'll get something out there, and we'll do something just to show you guys what's going on out there, because there's been some developments.
Some
you were gonna real quick give a shout out to Sam.
Oh, yes, Sam Metro sent me some 49 Chevy taillights.
Yes,
out of his stash of coolness, and really appreciate that. He says, "Hey, when you get ready to hot rod that thing, here's some really cool taillights to add to it," and I love them. They're in amazing shape, and I can't wait to use them. So that's going to happen. I'm not sure exactly when, but it's awesome that someone was willing to do that. And just, here you go, Johnny. Have these. These have been with me. Still on the search, possibly. If anybody's got some junky, they don't even have to be perfect condition. Looking for some Model A reflector pieces that fit inside the headlights. The gentleman before me did a horrible job and put some little 5-inch tractor lights with an ashtray, it looks like, cut out with a hole in it to take up the spacing, and then zip tied it in there. Not great. So we'd like to get those going, although I do have another idea possibly of just maybe chroming it in. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Got some options.
Stay tuned. But we may do a walk around out there. We may even take her for a ride on Friday. I
got parts coming to fix we have a little teeny fuel leak on because I cleaned out the the
fuel compartment.
No, the
fuel pan.
No. Oh, I get
gas pan.
Starts with a D.
Dump and run.
The tickler. The demonstration of dirty dogs dart. It's the anyway. Sediment bowl. It's not even a D. I cleaned up the sediment bowl because we were having some issues, and since I cleaned it out, it's been running with no issues, and it has brass pieces, and apparently I may have over tightened the brass piece.
Wonderful, you're already breaking
stripped the brass piece, so we got new ones coming. I ordered some today they're like $5.
So we're gonna get her on the road. We're gonna get her out and about. We're gonna take her downtown. We're gonna go have whiskey drinks.
Yeah, we're gonna go drink and drive.
It's going to be fun.
Dork.
All right, guys. We will see you on the flip side.
Thanks for hanging out. Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast. I'm John Jalopy. This is ity-B. We sure appreciate you hanging out with us. We hope to see you again bright and sunny in the next podcast time, 9:30 Eastern, right here on Facebook and also YouTube Live. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. It's Johnny Jalopy and ity-B.
Bye, guys.
See ya.